Have you heard the interview with Mr. Lambert?
A few of it, yeah.
And?
Yes. Well, I think from an OEM perspective, I think we all need to build together the strength of the European automotive business. Still, there is, certain sentiment, against OEMs, and what we are trying to do is to deliver the best services, improving the mobility, and also being compliant with the legislation. We are. I mean, we don't cheat. I mean, we are compliant.
Yeah, I can imagine, Lothar, welcome as well, that you are happy with the 2035 target and that you don't want to change it.
Actually, listening a little bit the session before and commenting on that, it's an interesting one, because I have been 23 years in a traditional German manufacturer, knowing exactly the challenges and what is happening now, still having a big network there, and now working since 3 years for the giant of China, Geely, now with the brand Zeekr, which owns Volvo, Polestar, Lotus, and so on. And it's two different worlds which are clashing against each other. And I think the power of the new entrants, especially I can speak about Geely, is this agility, this target orientation moving forward, the willingness to win. And this is what makes also the new entrants, I think, very strong. While in the traditional legacy companies, you have a lot of challenges from the past, right? A century behind you with legacy systems, legacy operations, and a very difficult challenge they have to tackle.
Okay. First topic I would love to bring onto the table is about efficiency versus sustainability. We all know that operational excellence, that often means efficiency and cost control, while sustainability targets often mean complexity and extra investment. Starting with you, Carlos, which one takes priority in your strategy today? Is it efficiency or is it sustainability?
Well, for Kia, for us, I think they are the size of the same coin. I mean, you cannot sacrifice one on, basically benefiting the other one. So efficiency as a business economic function, I mean, the cost control is one of the variables of any type of business equation, and we are really focused on that. But whenever you need to ensure profitability at the same time, because if you don't have certain levels of profitability in your business, then what you are doing, you start cost cutting, as you were saying, and then your plants, they do not have a full utilization, so your fixed costs, they start increasing, and then, financial departments, they get nervous, they start cutting investments that you need for the future. Also, sales teams, they start pushing cars into the business, into the dealers, into our compounds, and etc. And then your residual values are affected, your customers are dissatisfied, and etc. And then you cannot, implement your sustainability measures. So what we do, I give you an example of Kia in Europe. So we have a factory in Slovakia that produces 351,000 vehicles per year. So we are at maximum capacity. So our capacity effectively is 350,000. And using all the Saturdays, extra hours and whatever, so we achieve 351. So we have been like that for many, many years, except COVID for obvious reasons. And what we did, it is using that efficiency to introduce the production of 2 electric vehicles. So EV4 that we are launching right now, and EV2 that will start the next year. So we are using all the effectiveness of the factory in terms of production capacity to introduce our, two of sustainable vehicles that they are helping us, for example, to avoid the tariffs, to get better legislation, in the markets that they have, for local European production, and also we are having better delivery time to our customers. So in that time, we are, utilizing the efficiency that we have, combining it with the long-term sustainability targets of, expanding our EV portfolio.
Lothar, at Zeekr, being part, like you mentioned it, of the big Geely group, I can imagine that for you it's about innovation and sustainability, and that efficiency can come later into play, or
Yes.
am I making a mistake?
No, absolutely. I think sustainability comes with profitability, that comes with efficiency, so that all goes hand in hand. And I think we at Zeekr, as a young brand, have everything in hand to build it up from scratch, and we have built it up in the last 4 years. And I don't want to elaborate too much on the factory side, because I think you made very good points. We are producing in China, we're having 5G factories, and it's also blown away state of the art of innovation. But I would like to elaborate a little bit more on the technology and on the products and on the features in the products, because I think sustainability is a must, and that means being competitive in the market. And that's why we also believe that we need to innovate, we need to move really forward with our product features. And we just have this year announced the Taizhou Declaration with the Geely Group, where all the brands will be more and more consolidated. So we're having to simplify it, one platform for all brands, features, technology developed for all brands, and then these are serving for the brands in the right brand positioning. That is, for me, one of the main points we need to develop further and innovate, to also respond then to the consumer, because that drives sustainability forward. And that's why I think the entire chain starts with R&D and product development, and then towards manufacturing and distribution.
Talking about innovation, talking about features, talking about sustainability, I prepared 2 slides with pictures. If everything is right, we are going to the first one now.
That's mine.
Yes,
That's
so
mine.
that's yours. We also have the PV5 who is here to discover. Yes, so Kia is moving, let's say, or integrating not only passenger cars, but now also LCVs, ELCVs. Why?
Well, traditionally, we have been very strong in passenger car markets, and we wanted to make this step of launching the first time a light commercial vehicle full electric, also because we are growing more and more into the fleet business, and we were feeling that our customers, they needed that combination between passenger and light commercial vehicles. And we're bringing a product which is a state of the art in terms of technology. We're using a skate platform, that is very efficient, so the range is more than 400 kilometers, but also it is very square, so basically it facilitates the cargo volume, it's 4.4 cubic meters, but also the entry into this. So 2 pallets, they got, very easily into the vehicle side and also from behind, and the loading height is also very efficient. So what we thought, it is getting a product, but together with the whole ecosystem. So we are bringing a fleet management system with Geotab that improves the whole connectivity of the vehicles and also efficiency on the driving ranges of the geo mapping of the vehicles in order to maximize the routes and etc. And we think that this is a really is going to be a really successful point, when we will go to customers in order to expand, all of our portfolio of products with light commercial vehicles. We're very excited about it.
Okay. Then we are going to look at another, and that's for you. 7 seconds. I read that you are launching or have launched the 900-volt golden brick architecture to charge a vehicle in 7 seconds from 20 to 80%. Is that correct?
I think there are tremendous steps in charging speed now, and yes, there are, of course, in the R&D departments now huge developments. We are having now, as you know, the 13 minutes charging from 10 to 18, the current models also here in Europe. But what happens in China is a little bit faster than here in Europe. Why is that the case? because in China the ecosystem of fast charging has been developed during the last years much more faster. They have the architectures, they have the grid, they have the fast charging stations. So all that helps in China to move much more faster. Is it necessary for a user? I don't know if the difference between then 13, 10, 11 minutes will make a big difference, but I think you see what's possible. Mm-hmm. And all the new battery technologies where we are putting a big effort in leads to all the efficiencies for the users and also for the fleet. Users and managers, right? In terms of downtime, in terms of how much you need to take your car into charging. So yes, that's this very, very speedy development.
Okay. We heard already before that Europe's regulatory framework keeps shifting, and probably it is not the end that we have seen. Is your strategy, Carlos, built around chasing compliance, or are you trying to get ahead of the curve?
Well, we need to be compliant. I mean, that is not the question here, because you need to meet the regulation and you need to meet all the regulations in the market. So currently we are ahead of the market in terms of EV sales. So we will be finished this year around 125,000 units of pure electric vehicles, not counting the hybrids and mild hybrids and plug-in hybrids. And that accounts more or less 22% of our sales. So on the market right now will finish around 19%. And we planned this long time ago, because in the industry you need predictability. So you need to set certain rules, and then we make the investments manufacturers in order to meet the rules. So basically we are in track to achieve our CO2 targets year by year. Okay, so because that was the initial plan. So to achieve in the year 25 and 26 and 27, and now there is the merge between the 3 years. We will still be compliant with the 3 years. But what we did it is to plan ahead, because this was known many years ago. So you need to basically put all your business cases in place in order to try to achieve that. So we have one of the biggest offensives in EVs. Mm-hmm. So we launched EV3 this year, and we will sell this year more than 60,000 vehicles with 37% of the segment of EV3. It's a great success. And now we're launching EV4, we will launch EV5, EV2, PV5, and basically we'll have a very wide range only on EV, so not counting the rest of technologies. So basically we will be compliant in each one of the years. We just need to be very clear what the rules of the game are going to be, and then we will adapt. And
is that an
flexible.
issue sometimes?
Well, basically, the legislations normally are very difficult to change, because they are approved by the European Parliament, and in order not to change, you need to go again and to run another law to change the law. So the law is the law, and you need to fulfill the law. There is no question about it. So, but sometimes there is different interpretations, timings, retimings, and etc. So from our position, so we are always planning ahead. So that's why, for example, we built EV4 and EV2 in our European facilities. So in order to facilitate better, delivery and lead times, or better lead times to our customers, and etc.
Okay. For you at Zeekr, does the fact that there are targets, does that change your strategy for Europe?
No, not at all. I think I can also confirm, like Carlos did, ESG is not a question, it's a must. And I would say, besides a lot of administration and analysis reports which have to be generated now, and we are preparing these things, it also helps us. So it's a little bit two sides of the story, but why does it helping us? Because we are looking really into all processes and operations where we are efficient and where not. And for us, it's a big advantage because we are still young. So we are 2 years only in the market in Europe at the moment. We have 11 markets live now, but covering only 35% of Europe, but now we are scaling up. So until end of next year, we will be in 90% of Europe present. So we are launching Germany, France, UK, UK outside EU, but Italy, Spain. So that will help us to grow much more efficient, much more sustainable. And besides the market launches, we also have big ambitions in terms of launching new models. So probably we'll see 2026, another 2 to 3 new models from Zeekr that we can extend our portfolio in a way. And for that, we need to be prepared. And everything what is helping us in sustainability helps us also in our business case.
And the tariffs, how is that impacting you?
The tariffs is a difficult discussion, I think, or has been a difficult discussion during the last months. I think when the first announcement came, it gave us a lot of homework. And of course, we were investigating in different scenarios and strategy options. One was, of course, local production. And you know, with Geely, we have a lot of, we have a footprint in Europe which we can use or just build on. However, we did in a few months, 4 to 5 months, a huge task force where we checked, again, efficiency topics. And from the supply chain, over manufacturing, over distribution, we found a way, and that's why we reconfirmed, I think, by end of last year, that we will roll out Europe further. Even with the tariffs, we found a sustainable business case. And that's what we are at the moment doing. That doesn't opt out a local production. Could still be, but we haven't taken any decision on that. But we are ready to scale, and we are ready to deliver the products towards the product requirements of European customers. And what is important also, which we announced, is prices have been developed and positioned before tariffs in a way where we believe that's the sweet spot. Price value proposition on the highest level with an attractive price, and we decided we keep them even after tariffs in the same range.
Okay. That's good news for the customers. Okay. Now we also know that margins on EVs can be quite slim. Infrastructure, charging infrastructure, remains uneven. Fleets are still and mostly cost-driven. Carlos, isn't the push for electrification in Europe at odds with remaining profitability, both for the OEMs, but perhaps also for the customer?
Well, we are in a very sweet position at this point of time because Kia is one of the most profitable brands now worldwide and in Europe, and also we are doing, more than the market in terms of electrification sales. So the important thing is that what we do is follow certain rules very strictly. So basically we do not push for volume for pushing. So basically we are trying to have pull strategies ahead where the customers are the ones that they request our vehicles instead of really pushing into the market, because that at the end affects your residual values, and we are very tightly controlling all the residual values from our vehicles. So we take care of all the channel mixes very, very carefully in order to have a very balanced mix of that. Also, our pricing is very predictable. So we set a certain pricing and we don't change it. So we can do certain commercial campaigns on monthly basis in different markets, finance campaigns, and etc., like anyone else. But we don't make these ups and downs in your list prices, on a certain moment, which also helps the value of your vehicle. Then we concentrate in the long term, but you use economies of scale. So, for example, the EGMP platform, engineering-wise, of our electric vehicles, it serves for EV2, EV3, EV4, EV5, EV9, EV6. So all our models, and also PV5 has a very efficient platform. And also what we are trying to do is in this, pull strategy, it is leave the markets to set their path into how they want to be electrified. So you cannot push South Europe, as much as Northern Europe, because the charging infrastructure, as you were saying, is still not there. So we have all technologies from EV to PHEV and mild hybrids, and diesel and gasoline. So the markets, they select locally which is the best mix for them in order to optimize sales, profitability, and also CO2.
So you won't need any pooling strategy to reach your targets. You are already doing that yourself by seeing what cars you are selling, the volumes that you are selling. So
you mean the CO2 targets?
Yes, exactly.
We achieve by ourselves.
Okay.
So we other manufacturers, it is public information they pull, you know, and there is selling credits of this. We at Kia, we will achieve our CO2 by ourselves, so because we planned for that 10 years ago. So that's we are implementing our long-term plan, and we will be there, you know, achieving our targets.
Competition. You have Chinese entrants, like Zeekr. They are offering high-tech EVs, sometimes also very interesting, sometimes called aggressive price points. For brands like Kia, you have worked throughout the years to build trust. And a brand like Zeekr, you are known as being, at the moment, young, fresh, and disruptive. How do you each plan to win fleet customers in, let's say, an uncertain climate and without racing to the bottom on price? Lothar.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very good question and a very complex question. And I think you made very good points on channels, on strategy. And I think what we at Zeekr are proud of is that we are one of the Chinese manufacturers who are run by European management. That's why we always say we have a European soul. So the power of a giant in the European soul, because we take decisions with our Europeans, with European experience. So we also having a very, very big priority and focus on residual value. So all these channel points you made, I think, has to be on our agenda very much. And I think what is important for us before we come to the pricing discussion is, again, the product. And we need to address the user-chooser first. And that is what our products have to do. They need to be emotional. They need to be fun to drive. They need to have all the ingredients in terms of anxieties which the consumers have. So long range, above 600 kilometers, fast charging, we were talking about it. And features in the car like head-up display, massage seats, which you get as a standard option, and you don't have to pay even more on top. So that's where we have our anchor point and say, if that is right, the interest comes. Because we don't deny it, a brand which is not with a high awareness. We are not known so much. So that's where we start. And then, secondly, for me, it's about the basics have to be done. TCO need to be there. And as we are a young brand, we believe in growing with the partners. So we need to listen to the partners. We need to understand how they want to approach the market with us. And that's also our principle in our culture, co-creation, growing and investing together. And that's why we believe, coming as a final conclusion to your question, competing with price doesn't make sense. It must be a price-value proposition discussion where we need to be competitive.
Well, from our side, we have been, working with fleets for a very, very long time, and I think I agree with you. I mean, you need to earn the trust. The trust is not given. So in Kia, we are focusing on design, technology, connectivity, and also long-term value. That long-term value means service. We have 2,500, dealer network that they can serve, but they have the proximity to the fleet customers to go there. So we have been already for many, many years #1 position in JD Power in terms of the reliability, study with the less, fails per vehicle. So the quality of our vehicles is really, really strong. Also, the residual values, we have been working for years in order to maintain very, very strong residual values. And we are also working in everything that works around the sustainability of the business for fleet customers, like fleet management systems or connectivity over the years, or our battery management. So basically, our batteries degrade is one of the best of the industry. So after 3-4 years taking data from leasing companies, the battery health, is close to 100%. So the combination of the product, the technology, plus also the value that you get, the service and the after sales, it gives us a very strong proposition.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We need to end this discussion, but thank you for your insights and enjoy the rest of the Fleet Europe days. Lothar, Schupet, Carlos, Lahoz, thanks.
Thank you very much. Lothar, it's a pleasure.